2016 election dominated every facet of news this year, but which story was the biggest business story of 2016?
Still with us, David Asman, Simonetti and Dagen McDowell. All right, David, what was your biggest business story of 2016?
I'm going to cheat, because it's sort of related to the election. It's the comeback of carbon energy, particularly coal. A lot of companies went out of business, went bankrupt as a result of the attack of coal over the past 7 years from the Obama administration. As a result of the election, so it is election related, but some people saw it coming. Carbon energy, particularly the potential of the United States' explosion, even after we knew about fracking, this new layer of it, now that coal is coming back, and there's certain coal stocks in particular that look real good. I think that's the story, the comeback of carbon energy in 2016.
All hail the internal combustion engine, too.
There you go.
Lauren?
I am going to say the EpiPen disaster from Mylan Pharmaceuticals. What it did was expose the extremely high drug price in this country and the problems with the healthcare law and insurance companies and how we go about fixing that. Now, Mylan is putting a generic on the market, and I think drug prices under a Trump administration go down because he's going to speed up the process with which you get FDA approval.
And mine is the post-election rally, which people like Mark Cuban said that the market was going to collapse in on itself and that he was going to put a 100% hedge across his equity positions if it even looked like Donald Trump was going to win. And I think that caught a lot of people off guard, not the likes of Maria Bartiromo, who just kind of saw the writing on the wall, but so I thought that was the story.
Now I love Mark, but I do remember seeing him at that first debate out at Hofstra, and boy, he was feeling a little happy that morning before the debate.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks. If the polls look like there's a decent chance that Donald could win, I'll put a huge hedge on that over 100% of my equity position. That protects me in case he wins.
Touche.
Okay.
Now,
my
my story is not going to be the Trump election because, again, what I think 2016 will be the end of the extraordinary impact that the Federal Reserve has had on all capital markets. And so the 8 years since 2008, the Fed, the central bank, is now...
Central banks all around the world,
yes,
by the way.
But as it relates to this market, the Fed changing the extraordinary policy after 8 years, that's the biggest impact.
And by the way, Cuban told Neil Cavuto that.
By the way, I got Cuban on line 3 for you.
All right, I'll say the election was the biggest market event of the year, and just remember that night. Remember the sell-off that we saw in the stock index futures?
That Paul Krugman said was going to last forever, from which the market would never recover. Remember Paul Krugman's prediction?
Turned around and off the market.
And some TV anchors actually showing tears the Trump victory.
We were instructed not to select the election, just so you guys know.
But then you actually have, with this comeback of confidence, you have the American people feeling there are better days ahead.
All right, let's do it. All right, better days predictions 2017. Dagen McDowell.
That at least initially, it doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, but that you will have a rally in treasuries and stocks will remain weak moving into the new year.
I watched Donald Trump's Twitter account and its impact on markets. I'm not kidding you. People were skeptical of his use of Twitter. I spoke to Sean Spicer, his incoming press secretary, said he's going to continue using it. Yep. A lot of people think it's a good thing. That's fine, but he has the ability to move markets with a tweet.
And individual stocks, like Boeing.
Yet Twitter stock is down 29% this year, which I know they have problems, but you would think with Donald Trump using it so much. My market predictions for the beginning of the new year would be for this Wall Street and Main Street confidence to continue for a little bit. Finally, I feel like there's not a disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street, which we've seen for many years.
This is coming back to you, Gary. I think there is going to be a pause in the beginning of 2017 because there's going to be so much pushback to what our expectations are. Pushback from inside the Beltway because they're sluggish SOBs inside the Beltway. Confirmation hearings. But once he gets the tax cuts through, once he gets the deregulations through, I think the market. So the first half, there's going to be a little bit of a pause. Second half, I think, is going to take off.
All right. Since I know we'll play this a year from now, of course, I want to say something that I know I won't be wrong about. Everybody is betting the long dollar. The dollar strength will continue. I'm going to say that a year from today, the dollar against a basket of foreign currencies will be lower just because everybody is on that side of the trade. And you know from your days in the commodity pits, it doesn't work that way.
That's ripe, right?
Yeah, doesn't work that way.
All right. Well, there you have it. So you're saying you're safe with that one. We can play that back a year from now.
Absolutely.
That's a winner?
Keep it.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much to David, Lauren, Dagen.
Happy New Year.
The all-star panel to round out the year. And somebody's got to have the champagne.
Well, I just want to say before we run, it's been a great first year of here on the Fox Business Network.
Congratulations
Wall Street Week.
to you.
We're so happy to be part of what is now the best and #1 business network there is.
That's right.
So thank you all. Happy New Year, healthy New Year. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all in 2017.
Really confetti.